Welcome back to Wartime Weekly News. This week, a whole lot of information on the summer event, the IS-7, and the Russian Navy has been released. Hit that subscribe button. The IS-7 event has been a bit of a mess, as when it first came out, people were quite annoyed on how complicated and intense the challenge was. As a result, Gaijin decided to lower the required number of tasks done to achieve ranks in the challenge. This definitely eased a lot of the pressure and made things a lot more doable. Later, for some odd reason, Stage 2 was delayed by a week, now starting on August 3rd. And this has, in my opinion, made the entire challenge very easy, as you can do only 2 tasks a day and still get the IS-7 schematics long before Stage 2 actually starts. In a statement by Sona explaining why it's delayed, it is stated, "We apologize for the late notice and postponement of the event. We informed you of this as soon as we noticed it. Sadly, we were not able to do it earlier as the scale of the event was large and involved a third-party service. We postponed the start for a few days to ensure that all features are working as intended and that you would not have a problem participating in the event. Additionally, more players would be able to fulfill the requirements and participate in the complete marathon. Our goal is to provide you with information as soon as we can. We have no reason not to inform you as quickly as possible. Once again, we are very sorry for any inconvenience." This brings questions to the table. What exactly is this third-party service that's involved? Just how big is this event if it requires a third party? Were you not just delaying it because the number of people who have finished the required challenges was much lower than you were anticipating? Many questions probably will never be answered. As a result, the event is much easier to complete as is now. In fact, you might still be able to get the IS-7 Palm schematics. Despite the reductions of many things, people are still pretty upset about a lot with the event. Further explanation on the difficulty of the event was put out. Their claim onto why you can't just buy the tasks is they don't want the battlefield to be full of IS-7s. They want there to be a limited amount, although not as limited as the E-100 is. Personally, I take their statement with a grain of salt, and I assume, like most companies, that they're just trying to find interesting ways to make us give them our money. Also, in the statement, it was stated, as for the aviation side of things, we have not forgotten our aerial comrades. But the IS-7 is already a significant focal point and required almost an event of its own. Stay tuned for news for more information soon, TM pilots. So this confirms that after this IS-7 event, we're going to get a airplane event. What vehicles are going to be shown there? If it's anything like the IS-7 event, we'll have one prior rare vehicle that hasn't been shown for a while, possibly one that was purchasable at a point, and some high-ranking Bazaar aircraft. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Tier 5 jet to be added, especially if they plan to announce Tier 6 at Gamescom. Having a Tier 5 event plane wouldn't be surprising at all. Personally, I'd hope for something like the SRA-1 or the XF-85 Goblin, as they are too bizarre to be standard aircraft in a tree. The IS-7 also got its own devblog, and in it they explained how cool and awesome it is and how its frontal armor is intensely impenetrable, having up to 500 millimeters of effective thickness, and how that's even a good defense against modern armor-piercing shells and heat. Generally, as most devblogs do, this is hyping the vehicle up to be something immense. Game-changing, one could even say. But the stats of the IS-7 have been data mined and shown. Everything from its penetration to its armor has been shown off in a multiple of ways, one of which you may be able to do yourself. If you have the camo for the IS-7, you should have a coupon for it in your inventory. Before you consume it, you can test it out, and that allows you to view the IS-7 and even use the penetration analysis. Now, I did not get the penetration analysis, although I was able to test out the armor on my own in a different way. As you've probably seen, there's been many user missions involving the tank, and I decided to alter one of those user missions to allow me to shoot at the IS-7 with a multitude of vehicles. The first one I tested out was the STB-1. Seeing how it was 7.7, playing the vehicle, there's a high chance that you'll run into the IS-7. So I wanted to know how its ammo would do against this super heavy vehicle, and I found that the IS-7 has many notable weak points from the front that even the long 88 can penetrate. One of the easiest ones is that there's an optic on the right side of the tank, as if you were looking at it, which heavily reduces the angle on the 142mm armor, allowing you to easily slip any type of shell in there, including the long 88. But also, the left side hatch is surprisingly vulnerable. Your penetration options are much wider in the STB, even if you only have the stock ammunition. It seems around the gun mantlet, not directly on it, especially on the right side, is incredibly penetratable. If you have Heat FS, oh man, can you penetrate this tank. Even the Type 61 with its Heat FS can easily punch holes through many points of this tank's armor, and from the side, easily one-shot it, as this thing is chocked full of ammunition. Even worse off if the IS-7 attempts to angle itself to helpfully deflect your heat. That only allows it to be penetrated even more thanks to the pike nose and the rounded turret. Essentially, the outcome I got from my extensive testing is that this thing is not nearly as invulnerable as a lot of people are making it out to be. In fact, I think this tank's gonna have a kind of a hard time being smacked together from the point where Heat FS is king to the point where APFS DS is king is going to make this thing very uncomfortable. On top of that, its cannon, while large and probably easily squish any of the lighter armed vehicles that you find at these high tiers, isn't actually too good, as it only has one good type of shell. And oh man, that reload. Once you've expensed your ready rack, it just goes on forever. Personally, and this is just my speculation, the reason why they didn't put it up for sale as a premium or shove it into the normal tree, as it's not actually that good. It's not going to be revolutionary or game changing. In fact, it's going to be kind of a wet blanket. In other terms of the event, there was a data mine that left some unsettling text messages. One of them read, "Exchange items, Operation Summer." Some of them were too short to make anything out of, but then we get to things like, "This is an incorrect recipe. This is a true recipe, marked as incorrect. This is an incorrect recipe. You cannot collect the selected item from it. This is a true recipe. On use, it can collect the selected item. You marked this recipe as incorrect, but you still do not know if it is possible to collect a selected item. Assembly will be finished in time left. You have canceled the assembly. Items returned. The assembly was successful. You found the true recipe. The recipe was wrong. Items returned." This leaves an unsettling and confusing message of what stage 2 is to be. It seems that the crafting is no longer what it was for the April Fool's Tiger and Airplane event, but is now a whole new beast with incorrect recipes and timers, apparently. I hope what Gaijin is cooking up is a whole lot less confusing than what is shown here. What is also found in this data mine was the Russian Navy, all the boats that are to come in its tree. In fact, the endgame models of the boats were also found in the CDK. They got a light cruiser that might actually be a heavy cruiser hosting 180mm cannons, but only 2 vessels I could identify as destroyers, one the Project 7Y and a hero version of the Project 7Y, obviously to be a premium, but oddly, no regular Project 7s or other Russian destroyers, though it's not like they had a whole lot to choose from. A lot of the Russian fleet was really just ideas lifted from the Italian fleet. Also, in the terms of naval forces, the repair costs were altered to a more reasonable degree, although the Type 143 and Type 140/141 still have crazy high repair costs despite being boats. Also, the RP rewards for naval vessels was doubled, which shows good signs that Gaijin is going to change some things, and it makes me a bit more interested in naval forces. Unfortunately, I've been forced to grind tanks thanks to the event, and soon airplanes. I don't know when I'm going to go back to the Navy. The final news for this week was that the weeb skin events are still going on. And this time around, I can actually show some of the skins without being flagged for inappropriate content. And personally, I think they look kind of cool. They're black with red splotches all over it. Along with that, there were a host of decals and Ronalds for the fictional countries that inhabit the anime. The challenge to do these is apparently quite crazy, as you had 4 days to do it. This was posted 2 days ago, and you had to get 2 wins and 4 kills for each Ronald, and the skins are 200 gold each. But as I've said last time this was brought up, it doesn't concern me too much because it's only for Japan, and I don't want to get banned for weeb skins. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit the like button. If you have comments or concerns, leave a comment or join my Discord. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I make weekly news videos every weekend, and I make random videos throughout the week, so hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I post anything. Thanks for watching and have a great day.